Pwede bang ipakulong ng legal wife ang kabit ng asawa niya? Kabit, querida. Number 2, the other woman. The idea of having a mistress is woven into the very fabric of Filipino life. It is the whispered topic at family reunions, the open secret in barangay halls, the punchline in noontime variety shows. Filipino culture has not merely tolerated extramarital affairs, it has normalized them. In this episode, I will show you how keeping a mistress can be a form of psychological violence. It is a violation of marital rights, and under specific legal conditions, it is punishable with imprisonment. Marital infidelity can cross the line from immorality to criminality. And the law of the Philippines, from Congress to the Supreme Court, says you have every right to fight back. And Philippine courts have begun proving that one conviction at a time. So ano nga ba ang mga dapat gawin ng legal wife kung gusto niyang ipakulong ang kanyang babaerong asawa at ang kabit nito? Una, kumalma, mag-document ka. Pangalawa, magkonsulta sa abogado. Pangatlo, pang-apat. This Women's Month, bilang abogada, bilang babae, bilang Filipina, I dedicate this episode to you, the legal wife. Hindi lang drama ang pagtataksil, hindi lang ito teleserye, hindi ito badge of honor ng totoong lalaki. Ito ay karahasan, laban sa legal wife at kanyang mga anak. This Women's Month, I call on every Filipina, every wife, every daughter, every sister, every mother to know your rights and do what's right.
Attorney Bernice Piñol-Rodriguez is arguably the most recognizable intellectual property and cybercrime protection lawyer in the Philippines today, with well over 500,000 followers across platforms and one of the strongest digital legal voices in the country. But the Pinol name did not start with social media. In Philippine politics, the Pinol name is associated with public service, governance, and national leadership. Most notably, former Agriculture Secretary and longtime Mindanao public servant, Emmanuel Manny Piñol. Bernice comes from that same lineage of public-facing leadership, but she chose a different battlefield, the law. While others inherited political capital, she built legal capital. She is a managing partner and legal strategist, specializing in intellectual property protection, cybercrime law, corporate structuring, and digital rights. In an age where brands are stolen online, identities are hacked, and reputations are destroyed with one click, she protects the future. Early in her career, she handled a case that would define her trajectory. A man wrongfully imprisoned for 11 years. She elevated the case to the Supreme Court and secured a full acquittal. The ruling did not just free a man, it became part of Philippine jurisprudence. That isn't influencer law. That is precedent-setting law that helped shape the destiny of a nation. Today, she translates complex statutes into practical protection for entrepreneurs, creators, founders, and families. Through her Hey Attorney platform, she has made legal literacy accessible to hundreds of thousands of Filipinos, without dumbing it down. She carries a famous surname that she continues to elevate further. This is attorney Bernice Piñol-Rodriguez, and today she is proudly PGMN.
Pwede bang ipakulong ng legal wife ang kabit ng asawa niya? Kabit, querida. Number 2, the other woman. The idea of having a mistress is woven into the very fabric of Filipino life. It is the whispered topic at family reunions, the open secret in barangay halls, the punchline in noontime variety shows. Filipino culture has not merely tolerated extramarital affairs, it has normalized them.
Nabuking daw na ang kinakasama ng kanyang friend ay may ibang kinalolokohang girl.
Oh, bakit ba kayo nag-break?
Dahil po sa akin eh.
Bakit? Bakit na dahil
ang
sa'yo? Bakit na dahil sa'yo?
Nag-cheat po kasi ako.
The kabit serye dominates Philippine television. It's one of the most profitable genres in the entertainment history. ABS-CBN's The Legal Wife reached 36.2% household ratings in its 2014 finale. At least 21 major Filipino films have centered on infidelity as their core theme, spanning decades. The mistress is portrayed by our most celebrated actresses, Vilma Santos, Ramos, Ann Curtis, Bea Alonzo. The betrayal becomes a spectacle. The rage becomes ratings. But under Philippine law, having a mistress or being one, it's not just drama. It can be a crime.
Agad nagpasama sa pulisya ang isang mister matapos isumbong na nakita niyang nag-check-in ang misis at kalaguyo nito sa isang hotel sa barangay Kaanawan, San Jose City, Nueva Ecija kahapon. At nang mabuksan ang kwartong, tinuluyan ng dalawa, tumambad agad ang hubot-hubad na katawan ng isang babae.
In the year 2021, a famous Filipino rock star allegedly used the alias Lauro Buenavista to conceal a sexual relationship with a woman who was not his wife. In short, may kabit siya. Eventually, nalaman ito ng asawa but apparently this is not the first time. Ayon sa legal wife, ilang beses na palang nangabit ang asawa niyang rockstar at ang paulit-ulit na pagtataksil sa kanya ay nagdulot ng matinding heartbreak at trauma. She was clinically diagnosed with major depressive disorder, severe with psychotic features. She was placed on regular medication. This rock star's womanizing rocked her world. Sino ang rockstar na to? Ang frontman ng legendary American band na The Journey, Arnel Pineda. And on June 2025, he was criminally charged by the Quezon City Prosecutor's Office for his marital infidelity against his wife, Cherry. Apparently, based on the facts of this case and the allegations of the legal wife, Arnel Pineda could possibly go to jail because he caused immense emotional and psychological distress to his wife, and he did not carry out his marriage vows faithfully.
I'm forever yours, faithfully.
As we speak, there are millions of Filipino women inside their homes, raising children, cooking dinner, keeping the marriage afloat, while emotionally, mentally, and psychologically unraveling because their husband keeps a mistress. She is told to keep silent, to preserve the family name, to think of the children, to accept that ganyan talaga mga lalaki, polygamous daw, natural daw, magtiis ka na lang, magpatawad ka na lang. Pero ang hindi alam ng maraming kababaihan na nasa ganitong sitwasyon, hindi nila kailangan itong tiisin. Hindi nila kailangang tanggapin ang pagtataksil bilang kultura, ang pangangabit ng asawa bilang normal. Hindi nila kailangang patawarin kung paulit-ulit na lang ginagawa. At merong batas na pwedeng magpakulong hindi lang sa babaerong lalaki, kundi pati ang kanyang kabit. This Women's Month, bilang abogada, bilang babae, bilang Filipina, I dedicate this episode to you, the legal wife. Hindi lang drama ang pagtataksil, hindi lang ito teleserye, hindi ito badge of honor ng totoong lalaki. Ito ay karahasan, laban sa legal wife at kanyang mga anak. In this episode, I will show you how keeping a mistress can be a form of psychological violence. It is a violation of marital rights, and under specific legal conditions, it is punishable with imprisonment. Marital infidelity can cross the line from immorality to criminality, and Philippine courts have begun proving that one conviction at a time. So ang tanong, meron na bang mga lalaki na nakukulong dahil sa pangangabit? Yes, absolutely. Many trial courts in the Philippines have sent cheating husbands to jail, and the Supreme Court has upheld this several times. And mind you, this is not based on the law on concubinage. Hindi kailangang ibahay ang kabit para maparusahan ng kulong. Pwede nang magkaso ng kriminal ang legal wife as long as ma-prove niya na nagdusa siya ng matinding emotional and psychological distress dahil sa mistress ng asawa niya. So what law is this? What case can be had against a cheating husband? RA 9262, or the Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. Under this law, psychological violence is a criminal offense with a penalty of up to 12 years of imprisonment, mandatory protection orders, and financial support for the wife and children enforceable by the court. And how can this law punish marital infidelity? if it's a form of psychological violence under Section 5I. Paulit-ulit nang sinabi ng Korte Suprema, malinaw at walang kondisyon na ang mismong pakikipagrelasyon or pakikiapid kapag nagdulot ito ng matinding emosyonal na paghihirap sa legal wife ay maaaring maging krimen. Kahit hindi ka sinaktan ng husband mo physically, pwede pa ring mag-file ng VAWC kung dahil sa pambababae niya ay nasasaktan ng iyong puso at pagkatao. Hindi mo kailangan na may pasa, hindi mo kailangan ng medical certificate or hospital record. You just have to prove that your husband has been unfaithful and that because of this, you suffered emotionally and psychologically. RA 9262 exists because Filipino women are generally at a disadvantage. Statistically and historically, mas madalas talaga na biktima ang babae ng marital infidelity. And before VAWC and the recent Supreme Court rulings, the laws in place did not really protect abused women. We have the revised Penal Code of the Philippines, which was enacted in 1930, 95 years ago. It was written with a built-in double standard that made it difficult for women to file cases against their cheating husbands. Under the RPC, pinaparusahan ang pagiging unfaithful, adultery para sa wife na nangabet at concubinage sa lalaking asawa na may kabit. Ang problema lang, mas madaling ipakulong ang cheating wife at sobrang hirap ipakulong ang cheating husband. Sa adultery or Article 333 of the Revised Penal Code, kapag ang isang married woman ay nakipagtalik sa lalaking hindi niya asawa, isang beses lang ay sapat na. One act of sexual intercourse is enough. Hindi kailangan ng eskandalo, hindi kailangan ng live-in arrangement. Kapag napatunayan ang pakikipagtalik, pwedeng makulong ang babae at makukulong din ang kabit niyang lalaki kung alam nito na may asawa siya. Bawat act, hiwalay na offense. Pero sa concubinage or Article 334, iba ang standard. Kapag married man ang nag-cheat, hindi sapat ang isang sexual intercourse. Hindi sapat ang screenshots ng private illicit exchanges. Kailangang patunayan na pinatiran niya ang kabit sa conjugal home o nakipagtalik siya under scandalous circumstances o nakipag-cohabit siya na parang mag-asawa sa ibang lugar. In short, dapat lantaran, may kahihiyan, may eskandalo. At may isa pang malaking pagkakaiba. Sa adultery, parehong makukulong ang babae at ang kanyang kabit. Sa concubinage, ang asawa lang ang makukulong. Ang kabit, distiero lang, hindi kulong. Ganyan ka-uneven ang Articles 33.3 at 33.4. And for decades, this imbalance gave cheating husbands a legal shield until the VAWC law came along and the latest Supreme Court decisions that strengthened it. Ngayon, hindi kailangan ibahay ang mga kabit para masampahan ang cheating husband ng criminal case. Kailangan lang ma-establish ng legal wife ang mga sumusunod na elements based on RA 9262 at ang latest Supreme Court decisions. Number 1, she is the legal wife. Number 2, her husband committed an act of marital infidelity. 3, she suffered mental or emotional anguish as a result. And 4, that anguish was caused by the infidelity itself, whether through public humiliation, emotional abandonment, deceit, or similar acts. Now, let me answer some of the most frequently asked questions to me on my inboxes in Hey Attorney and during consultations with the client. First question, can a common law wife or a live-in partner also file a VAWC case against a cheating boyfriend or partner? I submit that the answer is no. The law is clear that this pertains to marital infidelity, which presupposes that there is a valid marriage. For all the other offenses in the VAWC law, of course, pwede ang girlfriends and common law wives magkaso, but for psychological violence caused by marital infidelity, hindi. Also, wala pang Supreme Court decision na nagsasabing pwedeng magkaso ang mga girlfriends and common law wives on the basis of marital infidelity. Only legal wives wives can be protected through this specific recourse under the VAWC law. Another question, pwede bang gamitin ang screenshots ng private chat ng cheating husband at kanyang kabit as evidence? Yes, absolutely. These chat exchanges alone can prove the existence of the extramarital affair, and the use of screenshots for purposes of case filing can be an exception to the data privacy law. Next question, paano kung sabihin ng cheating husband, hindi ko naman sinasadya na masaktan ang wife ko? Pwede ba yang depensa? Hindi. Based on the 2024 Supreme Court en banc decision in GR number 252739, penned by Justice Ramon Paul Hernando, criminal intent is automatically presumed the moment the husband commits the act of infidelity. The husband, in that case, argued exactly this way, na hindi naman niya intensyon na magdulot ng sakit sa kanyang asawa. The Supreme Court rejected that defense, upheld his conviction, and said the law looks at the effects of the act against the woman, not the intention of the offender. And of course, the biggest question of all, pwede din bang ipakulong ang kabit based on the VAWC law? The answer, yes. So can the mistress go to jail based on the VAWC law? Yes, definitely. It's challenging and complicated, but it can be done. So how can a mistress be liable under VAWC? Ang mistress, kung siya lang mag-isa, hindi pwedeng kasuhan sa ilalim ng RA 9262. The Supreme Court has confirmed this in Dinamling versus People and Melgar versus People. The mistress, standing alone, cannot be charged under RA 9262 simply for being in an affair with a married man. Pero, at ito ang hindi madalas sinasabi sa mga legal blogs, may exception. Pwedeng makulong ang mistress for VAWC under the conspiracy doctrine. Paano? Kapag ang legal wife ay nagsampa ng kaso laban sa cheating husband at isinama ang mistress bilang co-conspirator. Ibig sabihin, kailangang mapatunayan na hindi lang siya third party, kundi aktibong nakipagsabwatan sa asawa para mangyari ang affair at magdulot ng psychological violence sa legal wife. Kapag may conspiracy, pwede siyang managot criminally under RA 9262. In the case of Gotan versus Spouses Stan, the Supreme Court ruled that the principle of conspiracy under Article 8 of the revised Penal Code can be applied suppletorily to RA 9262. The court declared, while the law provides that the offender must be related or connected to the victim by marriage or a sexual or dating relationship, it does not preclude the application of conspiracy. Why? Because Section 47 of RA 9262 itself expressly states that the revised Penal Code shall have a suppletory application. And under the revised Penal Code, once conspiracy is shown, once there is a proof of a community of design, a shared purpose to inflict harm, the act of one becomes the act of all. All conspirators are treated as principals. And here's what makes this even more powerful. Section 5H of RA 9262 itself already recognizes that violence against women can be committed by the offender personally or through another. The law was written with this possibility in mind. So what does this mean for the legal wife? It means that she can send the mistress to jail along with her cheating husband, and they both suffer the same penalty, imprisonment of 6 years to 12 years. It can be done. I have done this for clients who are legal wives, and I've helped them send their cheating husbands to jail, including the mistress. So ano nga ba ang mga dapat gawin ng legal wife kung gusto niyang ipakulong ang kanyang babaerong asawa at ang kabit nito? Una, kumalma, mag-document ka. Keep calm and collect evidence. I-screenshot mo ang lahat. Chat messages, Viber, Messenger, social media posts, photos, check-ins. I-save mo ang birth certificates kung may anak sila. Bank transactions, property transfers. Hindi lang ang affair ang kailangan mong patunayan. Patunayan mo ang conspiracy. Pangalawa, Magkonsulta sa abogado o kung di mo kayang mag-hire ng private lawyer, dumulog sa PNP, sa Women and Children Protection Desk ng pinakamalapit na police station or pumunta sa opisina ng Public Attorney's Office. Isalaysay mo ang lahat ng dinanas mo sa sarili mong salita. Take note, and this is very important. Pangalanan mo ang asawa mo bilang primary respondent at ang kabit bilang co-conspirator. Pangatlo, mag-file ng criminal complaint sa Office of the City Prosecutor. Dalhin mo lahat ng ebidensya at ang complaint mo na nagsasabi na this is a violation of Section 5I of RA 9262 laban sa iyong asawa kasama ang kabit bilang co-conspirator under Article 8 of the Revised Penal Code applied suppletorily through Section 47 of RA 9262. Pang-apat, hintayin ang resolusyon ng piskalya o ng prosecutor's office at maghanda sa trial kung sakaling mag-proceed ang kaso sa korte. So to every legal wife watching or listening right now, to you who have suffered in silence for years, to you who cry at night while your husband sleeps in another woman's bed, to you who were told, magtiis ka na lang, ganyan talaga ang lalaki, huwag mo nang sirain ang pamilya. Hear me clearly, you were not the one who destroyed your family. He did, and she did. And the law of the Philippines, from Congress to the Supreme Court, says you have every right to fight back. Hindi ka nag-iisa, hindi ka mahina, at hindi ka kailangang tumahimik. For the better part of a century, Philippine law allowed the cheating husband to walk free while the faithful wife walked through hell. The mistress was a ghost in the legal system, present in the affair but absent from any indictment. And the legal wife was left with nothing but her testimony and her tears, which for the longest time no courtroom considered enough. But the law has finally caught up with the truth that every betrayed wife has always known. Infidelity is not a private matter. It is not just a domestic inconvenience. It is violence, psychological, emotional, and now unequivocally criminal. Today, the law does not merely acknowledge the legal wife's suffering. It vindicates her, it arms her, and it holds every conspirator in her devastation, husband and mistress alike, equally answerable before the court with a penalty of 6 to 12 years of imprisonment. The law has chosen its side, and it has chosen the legal wife. This Women's Month, I call on every Filipina, every wife, every daughter, every sister, every mother to know your rights and do what's right. This is Attorney Bernice Piñol-Rodriguez, your Hey Attorney on social media, and now proudly PGMN.
Isang trilyong pisong panukalang pondo, a historic allocation of over 1 trillion pesos.
Ito ang pinakamataas na budget para sa edukasyon sa ating kasaysayan.
Saan napupunta ang pera? Una, historic ang budget ng edukasyon. Noong 2025, umabot sa humigit kumulang 1.05 trillion pesos ang alokasyon. This 2026, ang allocation ay 1.2 trillion pesos. Halos 4% na ng GDP natin. Ikalawa, sa kabila ng record-breaking budgets, marami pa ring public schools ang nakakaranas ng kakulangan. Pagkatapos ng unang episode, malinaw ang tema ng mga komento. It's all about corruption. Will this be a new scandal o simula na ba ng tunay na structural reform?
Yeah, Muhammad Ali, the one that they call when this shit ain't connected no more. Feel like I got a job in IT. Rhyming with me is the biggest mistake. The Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake. It's like we recruited your homies.
Ngayon, hawak ni Secretary Sonny Angara ang halos 928.5 billion pesos sa DepEd allocation. May procurement reform, may transparency platforms, may LGU partnership, may PPP acceleration. This is a systemic opportunity. Kung bababa ang audit flags, kung mababawasan ang classroom deficit, maaaring sabihin na may structural change. Kung hindi, tuloy ang trillion peso cycle. And when delays happen, when classrooms remain unusable, when resources fail to reach schools, those moments can be treated with seriousness they deserve because each delay affects real children and real learning time. So, ano ang solusyon ni Secretary Sonny Angara?
Number 1, textbooks.
Number 2, digitalization. Number 3, Mr. Angara, we are all rooting for you to do this well. I came into writing this 2-part series with skepticism and hesitation because of all the negative things I heard about DepEd throughout my life. But now I believe that the monumental power of this record-breaking 1.3 trillion peso budget rests in the right hands. We believe in you. Please don't let us down.
She's not just beautiful, she's brilliant. At 29, Janelle Sicatin turned her voice, her looks, and her mind into a movement that schools never started. We blew up on TikTok for talking about one of the most important subjects no one ever taught us: money, how it works, how to grow it, and how to keep it. In a country where 99% of Filipinos are financially illiterate, Janelle has become a voice of reason in a world of noise. While others talk trends, she teaches truth, breaking down insurance, investments, and proper auditing in ways every Filipino can understand. She's not a finance influencer. She's the top 0.1% of financial advisors in the Philippines. A woman trusted by billionaires to elevate their portfolios and by everyday Filipinos to earn their first million. Behind the poise and presence is precision, backed by years of real numbers, real clients, and real impact. Because for Janelle, beauty and brilliance are not contradictions, they're proof that power looks different when it's rooted in purpose. Financial literacy is one of the Philippines' biggest problems, and she's made it her personal mission to fix it, one view, one plan, and one empowered Filipino at a time. This is Janelle Sicatin, smart, stunning, strategic, and today she's proudly PGMN.